In Days of Our Lives, the next shocking twist centers around Chad DiMera, who unknowingly falls victim to a love scam, and the emotional fallout that follows is explosive, leading him to direct his fury toward Jeremy Horton and Thomas DiMera, who both become tangled in the web of deceit. It all begins innocently enough when Chad, still struggling with loneliness after losing Abigail, starts chatting online with a woman who seems genuine, kind, and understanding. This mysterious woman calls herself Emily, claiming to be a writer working on a book about grief and love. Through late-night messages and emotional confessions, Chad begins to feel something he hasn't felt in a long time: connection. For the first time in years, he opens up about Abigail, his guilt, and his struggles with raising his children. Emily listens, comforts him, and even shares stories that make him believe she understands his pain. Slowly, Chad starts falling for her. He tells his friends about her, and even Thomas, his son, notices a change. His dad seems happier. But there's something darker behind Emily's beautiful words. What Chad doesn't know is that Emily isn't real. She's a fake persona created as part of an elaborate love scam, designed to exploit Chad's emotions and drain his bank accounts. The scheme begins with small requests: donations for charity, investments in her book project. And Chad, trusting and hopeful, complies. As the story unfolds, Jeremy Horton enters the picture. He's working on a cybersecurity case and accidentally discovers suspicious transactions linked to Chad's account. At first, he doesn't realize the connection, until he sees the name Emily. Jeremy confronts Chad gently, warning him that this could be a scam. But Chad gets defensive. He feels humiliated, insisting that Emily is real and that Jeremy doesn't understand their bond. The tension grows, and when Thomas overhears Jeremy and Chad arguing, he decides to investigate himself. Trying to protect his father, Thomas secretly traces Emily's messages and discovers the horrifying truth. The person behind the fake profile is part of an organized scam operation targeting wealthy men. When he tells Chad the truth, the shock nearly breaks him. Chad feels utterly betrayed, by himself for believing, by Thomas for keeping secrets, and by Jeremy for meddling. But once the reality sinks in, his pain turns into rage. The betrayal cuts deep because it reopens every wound he's ever had from losing Abigail. He feels violated, exposed, and foolish for thinking he could love again. When he finds out that Jeremy and Thomas worked together to expose the scam, and even talked to the police without telling him first, Chad's emotions explode. He feels like they both treated him like a child, stripping him of dignity and control. His trust in both of them shatters. In an intense emotional confrontation at the DiMera mansion, Chad lashes out, accusing Jeremy and Thomas of humiliating him in front of everyone. "You both think I'm weak? You think I can't handle my life?" he yells, his voice breaking. Thomas, fighting tears, tries to explain that he only wanted to protect his dad. But Chad's heartbreak blinds him. He can't see the love behind their actions, only the betrayal. Meanwhile, the real scammer, whose true identity turns out to be a woman named Samantha Cross, with ties to Salem's criminal underworld, goes on the run. The police try to track her down, but her disappearance leaves Chad with no closure. His pain festers into anger, and he begins to spiral, pushing away everyone who cares about him. As the storyline unfolds, Chad's wrath becomes dangerous, not because he's violent but because he's self-destructive. He blames himself for falling for the scam, but instead of healing, he projects his rage onto those closest to him. Jeremy becomes his main target since he was the one who exposed everything, and Thomas faces his father's coldness, feeling like he lost the dad he was trying to protect. This emotional meltdown sends shockwaves through Salem. Abigail's memory looms large as Chad struggles to reconcile the difference between love and illusion. Friends like Jack and Jennifer try to intervene, urging him to forgive Thomas, while EJ warns him that anger and revenge will only destroy what's left of his family. Eventually, Chad will have to make a choice: continue down the dark path of bitterness and isolation, or face his pain head-on and rebuild his trust in the people who truly love him. But in true Days of Our Lives fashion, the story doesn't end there. Samantha Cross may have escaped for now, but new spoilers tease that she's planning to return to Salem, this time with a deeper agenda. And when she does, Chad will face her again, but not as a victim, as a man out for justice.